know, I don't think there's been a moment where I understood the Chopped of Us reference more than after watching this episode. And the main reason I say that is because I absolutely have no problem with Bella Ramsey as an actor, and I actually think that she's amazing in a lot of her other work. And if I'm being 100% honest, I genuinely feel bad to hear that she's basically removed herself from all different social medias, but especially Reddit and Twitter after all the backlash that she's heard in reference to her being perceived as this character. So I know there's already a lot of people who are giving her a hard time, and I definitely don't want to join in on that party. But there's a lot of scenes that I've seen that come from the Last of Us television show that are being reenacted from the game that I genuinely find absolutely hilarious because they're being acted out by Bella Ramsey. But I do want to say that just because she doesn't physically look like Ellie does not mean that she's not doing a great job. The personality is definitely there. Like, I definitely see the notion as towards why she was chosen to portray this character. However, I definitely do agree that there were probably a lot of better choices in terms of characters that you could actually believe coming across as this role. But when it comes to these revenge scenes and when it comes to Ellie taking on the WLF, I genuinely have no idea how they're going to portray that on live action with this person portraying the character. Regardless, I really did like the fact that they added in Ellie having to talk to a therapist after her waking up after seeing what happened to Joel at the hands of Abby. And while this episode did definitely drone out, I definitely did appreciate the fact that they gave more time to delve into the psyche of this character before she goes on her revenge. But ultimately, there were a lot of scenes where while watching her play out these roles, I definitely started to see what everyone on the internet has been saying about her, and I really don't want to mean that in a negative way. I think a lot of the people who are making memes and things like that are definitely going overboard, especially the ones who are going to the extent to show them to basically millions of different people, because they are impacting the actor's mental health, and that's just genuinely not okay. And that's why I don't want to join in on trying to make fun of her, even though some of them are genuinely hilarious. I love the fact that she said she specifically has to avoid places like Reddit because you already know that that's where she's going to get the most of that type of comments in their rap. But ultimately, if I did want to say one character that I definitely don't think is chopped, it would have to be Dina, because Dina is definitely a baddie in the live action, and I honestly prefer this version of Dina to her video game counterpart. Not only is she less annoying here, but she definitely is physically better looking, and add on to the fact that she's definitely holding a personal grudge against Abby and her team during this version of it because she was there during what happened to Joel. So I honestly prefer the show version of Dina over video game version like I stated, and I think that she is definitely not chopped or considered part of the chopped category. Also, I know it may be insignificant to some of y'all, but one moment that I really appreciated during the beginning of this episode was Tommy going to identify Joel's body, because mentally I definitely was not prepared for it at all, and I definitely didn't understand that I needed to see that happen. But in the moment where he looks at the watch that Joel was wearing and he tells him to send Sarah his love from the afterlife, it definitely almost made me cry. And I really appreciate the fact that they added Tommy's reaction to finding out that Joel passed. Also, the fact that the first thing he did was start cleaning off Joel's body means that Tommy is definitely holding a major grudge against Abby and her team too, so it's definitely going to be super exhilarating in order when we finally get to see Tommy get his revenge against them in the show. And Tommy's casting is another one that I felt was done perfectly in my personal opinion. I had no problems with how they portrayed Tommy or his wife, and in all honesty, I'm very excited to see his rampage against the WLF in the show. They also dedicated a lot of this episode to the Sarah fights, and that is also super chopped because I actually don't really see the point of that storyline in The Last of Us 2 in the first place, outside of the use of propaganda. Like, there's really no narrative purpose for it to exist. But ultimately, when it comes to Bella Ramsey and her portrayal of Ellie as a character, I definitely am not excited to see where they're going with it for the rest of the season. I feel like a lot of the moments are going to feel very forced, and some of them might end up just looking cringe. It does look like from the trailers we are going to get some show-only moments that are more specific to the HBO version of the timeline regarding Ellie's time in Seattle and what actually goes down while she's out there. So I could be proven wrong once again. I'm totally not aware of what's going to happen for the rest of the season, so there could be some hidden gems in this version of The Last. However, right now, in my personal opinion, because of the lack of Joel and the overall lack of interest that I personally have in The Last of Us Part 2 storyline, I'm going to consider this season chopped. That's just what I personally think. Definitely feel free to let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, make sure you guys join the Discord. The link will be in the bio, and we are currently doing a $100 giveaway the second we hit our next goal milestone, so make sure you guys hop in there. Also, subscribe to the channel with notifications on so you can be notified the next time I upload a video, and consider supporting the release of the videos by buying some merch. The link is also in the description. Thank you for watching. I love and appreciate you all. Sun God signing off.
I come in clutch like a genie. Don't talk unless you need me. You talk too much, you need it. All of my bitches look like models, she in love with me. When we link, it's flashing lights and cameras, got a blam.